Hi everyone and welcome back to another lesson from Korean Studio. In this lesson, we're going to learn many useful expressions and phrases that you can use when you are using taxis in Korea. Now this lesson focuses on 3 mini dialogues, and after you have listened to each dialogue, I will explain all the key expressions in detail afterwards. 안녕하세요. 어디 가세요? 서울역으로 가주세요. 네, 알겠습니다. 빠른 길로 가주세요. Okay, so first, when you get in a taxi, the taxi driver can greet you. 안녕하세요. However, it's not, I think a lot of taxi drivers will greet you, but some people might not. And some people might ask you this question. 어디 가세요? Where are you going? 어디 가세요? 어디 means where, and 가세요 is the honorific form of the verb 가다. And this is a polite way of asking, where are you going? Where do you want to go? 어디 가세요? Where are you going? 어디 가세요? And I think most taxi drivers will ask this question, but they might not. And I think it's sort of expected, isn't it? When you get in a taxi, you immediately tell or let them know where you want to go. And the phrase that you can use to let the taxi driver know where you want to go is 서울역으로 가주세요. Please go to Seoul Station. 서울역으로 가주세요. 서울역으로 가주세요. 서울역 means Seoul Station, 역 means station, and then 으로 is a particle we use to indicate the direction of where we want to go. And in this sentence, you could use the particle 에 and say 서울역에 가주세요, but they're both very common phrases and have very similar meaning. And you can say 서울역으로 가주세요, which I think is slightly more common, but that's obviously not confirmed. But this is a very common phrase that we use to ask the taxi driver to go to a certain destination. Then the taxi driver says, 네, 알겠습니다. Yes, 알겠습니다. Okay. Now it's sort of, they double up a little bit because 네 means yes, 알겠습니다 means okay or I understand. But commonly we use 알겠습니다 to confirm understanding of what the other person has requested. So 알겠습니다 can roughly translate to mean okay or I understand. And then we make another request as a passenger. 빠른 길로 가주세요. Please go the fast way. 빠른 길로 가주세요. 빠른 is a modifier that's made from the adjective 빠르다, which means to be fast, and 길 means way. So 빠른 길 means the fast way. And then we have, again, 가주세요 means please go. So 빠른 길로 가주세요 means please go the fast way. Obviously, there are many different routes you could take, particularly in a big city like Seoul. So you might want to make this additional request so that he gets you there as quick as possible. Another common request like this that you can make is please go where there is no traffic. And when we talk about there being traffic, we say 길이 막히다. 길이 막히다. 막히다 is the passive form of 막다, and 막히다 means to be blocked. So when we say 길이 막히다, it means the way is blocked. And it's a way of, and that's an expression we use to say that there is traffic on the road. Quite often we also say, and this is, I think it's not the correct way, but it's a very common phrase. We say 차가 막히다. 차가 막히다. 차 means a car. And so obviously the car is blocked. I guess it kind of makes sense. But both phrases are relatively common. So 차가 막히다 is also a phrase that people use to talk about there being traffic on the road. But a more correct expression is 길이 막히다. 길이 막히다. So we can say, we don't want to say, please go the way where there is traffic. We want to say, please go the way where there is no traffic. Then we would have to make that 길이 막히다 into negative form. So 길이 안 막히다, but then we have to make it into a modifier. So we'll say, 길이 안 막히는 길로 가주세요. 길이 안 막히는 길로 가주세요. Please go where there is no traffic. 길이 안 막히는 길로 가주세요. 길이 안 막히는 길로 가주세요. So that's another way of requesting a useful request that we can make in terms of the way we want to go. Okay, so let's listen to the second dialogue and listen to and learn more useful phrases that we can use when we are using taxis in Korea. 기사님, 서울역까지 얼마나 걸려요? 1시간 정도 걸려요. 택시비는 얼마나 나와요? 글쎄요, 10,000원 정도 나와요. Okay, so here we have this phrase 기사님, 기사님, and 기사 means a driver, and the 님 is a word that we add to titles and names to be polite. And then we have this question. 서울역까지 얼마나 걸려요? How long does it take to Seoul Station? 서울역까지 얼마나 걸려요? Again, 서울역 is Seoul Station, and then we have this particle 까지 which means until or to. So 서울역까지 means to Seoul Station, and then we have 얼마나, how much, 얼마나 걸려요. 걸려요 is the polite form of 걸리다, which means to take a certain amount of time. So 얼마나 걸려요 is a question that means how much does it take? How long does it take? So here, obviously, depending on where you want to go, you can change 서울역 to other places. You can say 경복궁까지 얼마나 걸려요? How long does it take to 경복궁, 경복 Palace? Or you can say, for example, where else do you want to go? 명동까지 얼마나 걸려요? How long does it take to 명동? 명동까지 얼마나 걸려요? So it's pretty simple question phrase that you can use when you're using taxis in Korea. And then the taxi driver might say 1시간 정도 걸려요. A lot of the verb is the same, and then we have this word 정도, which we use to talk about an approximate amount. So 1시간 정도 means about an hour. So 1시간 정도 걸려요. It takes about an hour. 1시간 정도 걸려요. And then the driver asks another question. This time, not how much time it's going to take, but how much it's going to cost. And then here we have 택시비, 택시비. The syllable B refers to cost, cost to do something. So 택시비 means taxi fare. But we can use that syllable P in lots of other phrases to refer to cost. So for example, 교육비 is education cost. 교육비 is education cost. And then we have, I think pretty much everywhere around the world, there is a cost of living crisis. And living cost is 생활비. 생활비. 생활 means like living, life. And then we add P and then it becomes living cost. So we say 택시비는 얼마나 is same, how much. And then we have this verb 나와요. 나와요. 나오다 means to come out. And we use 나오다 when we want to ask the price of something that needs to be calculated. So we can use 나와요 when we're asking about taxi fare, because taxi fare adds up depending on how far you go. So whether it's a 30-minute journey to an hour's journey, that fare is going to be different. It comes to a different amount. So we use 나오다 in this situation to ask how much the cost is going to come to. But we can also use 나오다 when we're asking the price even in restaurants and clothing stores, particularly when you have lots of different items. So if you're in a restaurant, maybe you order a number of different meats in a barbecue restaurant. You also have lots of drinks to add up. So when you add them all up, how much does it come to? And also when you're shopping, maybe you've bought lots of different items of clothing, accessories, and when you add all of that up, how much does it come to? 얼마나 나와요? 얼마나 나와요? You can even use it in past tense. 얼마 나왔어요? Maybe they've done the calculation. 얼마나 나왔어요? So that's how we use the verb 나오다. And then the driver says, 글쎄요, 10,000원 정도 나와요. 글쎄, we use 글쎄요 is like similar to the word well in English. So we use 글쎄요 when we're not sure, when we want to say something that we're not 100% certain of. 글쎄요, 글쎄요. The casual form is 글쎄, 글쎄. And then here we have 10,000원 정도 나와요. 10,000원 means 10,000 won. And again, we have the words that we've seen in the dialogue already. 정도 meaning an approximate amount, so similar to about. And then the verb 나와요. Okay, so hope you now have a clear understanding of that dialogue. And the final dialogue is when we ask the taxi driver to stop the car. Let's listen. 어디서 세워드릴까요? 저기 버스 정류장 앞에서 세워주세요. 네, 10,000원이요. 카드 돼요? 네, 그럼요. Okay, so first we are making a request for the taxi driver to stop the car. Here we have 어디서, 어디서 세워드릴까요? Where should I stop the car? Where should I stop? 어디서 세워드릴까요? And so this is the taxi driver asking, not the passenger. So first we have 어디서. 어디 means where, and 서 is kind of like a shortened form of 에서. And it's a particle we use to talk about some action happening at a particular place. And although technically you could use 서 like 에서 and use it with various nouns, but using 서 with all kinds of nouns is not as common in Korea. It's more common to use 에서. It is very common to use 서 with certain words. So for example, with 어디 is really common. So we can say 어디서. We can also use 서 with like 여기서, 저기서, 거기서. 여기서 meaning here, 여기 means here, 저기 means over there, and 거기 means that place nearer to the listener. So those phrases are very common. 어디서, 여기서, 저기서, 거기서. But using 서 with general names of places is not as common. So like for example, 학교서. It's more common to say 학교에서 rather than 학교서. It's not grammatically incorrect, but it's just not a common way of using 서. And then we have this question phrase 세워드릴까요? And this combines the verb 세우다, which we use to talk about stopping something that's moving. So we can use it to talk about car stopping. If you are in a supermarket, you've got a trolley, and you want to say, let's stop the trolley there. Then you can say, 거기서 카트를 세우자. Right, so you can say, so any kind of thing that's moving and you want to say stop that moving thing, then you can, usually vehicle. You can't use it to like refer to people. Only like vehicles and machines we will use 세우다 to talk about speaking something. And then the taxi driver is asking this question politely because it's not just 세워주다. 세우다 combines 아 or 주다 to do something for someone, but then we use the honorific form 아 or 드리다, and then lastly we have the question form 을까요, which is a very polite way of asking, where should I stop the taxi for you? 세워드릴까요? 세워드릴까요? And then the passenger makes a request as to where he would like the taxi to be stopped. So 저기, over there, 버스 정류장, bus stop, 앞에서, in front of. 앞 means in front of. 에서 is that particle we use to talk about doing something at a particular place. And then 세워주세요 combines 세우다 and then 아 or 주다 with the honorific ending. So 저기 버스 정류장 앞에서 세워주세요 means please stop in front of the bus stop over there. And then the driver says, yeah, sure, there. And then says how much the taxi fare is. 10,000원이요. Very simple. 10,000원이요. 10,000원 means 10,000 won. And essentially, he's just saying the price of the fare. He's saying 10,000원. But to make that into a phrase that is polite, we can add either 이요 or 요. 10,000원, the one ends in a 니은 받침, so we add 이요. But if the noun doesn't end in a 받침, final consonant, we can just add 요. So for example, 카드, which is in the next line, is a noun that ends in the vowel 으. So if you want to say just 카드 to someone that you need to be polite and respectful to, then you would say 카드요, 카드요. And then the passenger wants to ask, can I pay by card? And this is a very simple question. You can just say 카드 돼요? 카드 돼요? 카드 돼요? 돼요 is a polite form of the verb 되다, which means that something can be done or something is possible. So we're just saying, is card possible? Can I pay by card? It's a very simple way of asking, can I pay by card? 카드 돼요? 카드 돼요? And then the driver says, 네, 그럼요. Yeah, sure. 네, 그럼요. So 그럼 is a word that has different uses, but one of them is to say, sure, of course. So that's what the taxi driver says. 네, 그럼요. Yes, of course. Okay, so that's it for this lesson on useful phrases and expressions that you can use in taxis in Korea. And I think in today's lesson, we went over a lot of fundamental phrases that you will need when you are using taxis, but also a lot of useful vocabulary and different structures that you can use for different purposes in certain scenarios. That's it for today, and I will see you soon again with in another lesson to learn Korean. Bye-bye.